Hi everybody, it's day 22 and we're on the 3-month sacred marriage ceremony, alchemy, process, refinement, expansion, deepening, introspection, realizing. Anyway, the list goes on and on and on. So, today's subject matter is the Egregore. The Egregore is one of those strange Kabbalistic words, but what it means is unified field. And an Egregore is created when there's two or more people present, sharing a same inner spiritual vision, inner creative vision. Football teams have egregores, political parties have egregores, classrooms full of children have egregores, dance troupes have egregores, couples have egregores, and in essence an individual would have an egregore, and I guess we would call that quite simply the soul. But we're looking at this egregore between the two of you, all you couples out there. So for instance, just for a bit of fun, our egregore, Pete and I, could be called Pitaya. It's a little bit of Pete and a little bit of me, Anaiya, Pitaya. When I tune into that being, that third being, that entity, Pitaya, I get to see and feel the soul essence of our couple. I get to see and feel who we shall become if we keep this refinement up. I get to see and feel it within my own self and in Pete quite often. And of course, we're kind of wanting that in a more consistent way. So this morning in bed, I was contemplating how well I know my own story, how well Pete knows my own story, how well I know his, and how he knows himself. And I kind of said to myself, I think that's enough of all of that. We've really unravelled, pulled out, exposed, revealed, shone the light on, deeply got into and released. He knows everything. There is no more tricks up my sleeve. He knows the lot. He doesn't need to keep being reminded about my story. And as for me, I've lived with it for 46 years. So I certainly don't need to know any more about it. So we are sort of engineering a turning point. We've got a fire in the background there. And the turning point is this. We are going to spend more time sourcing, keyword, thanks Oshun, sourcing from the Egregore. I.e., I'm going to spend more time contemplating, sitting in, resting in, moving and talking and choosing and deciding from my position in the Egregore. And I'm also going to be resting in, softening into, trusting, keyword, trusting the frequency and the wisdom and the know-how and the decency and the purity of our shared Egregore. So whenever I think, you know who, is, I don't know, missing the mark, not living up to, blah, da, 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 blah, blah, blah. Whenever I think he is not where he could be, blah, blah, story, I can just forget what the human self might be displaying or triggering in me, forget all that business, Just rest in the egregore. So before we go over to Pete, the piece of fish I put on my line and throw into the river, which is you guys, you're the river. So I'm fishing, I'm baiting you. So the bit of bait I'm throwing out to you today is this. Beloved friends, let's stop wasting precious vital essence and time on the old stories, and let's tune into that unified shared vision, the Pitaya, the Brad and the Brett and the Morrigan, the Brad and the Josie, the Victoria and the Nidan. Oh, those wonderful couples out there. What is the name of your egregore? Go on then.
Okay, yeah. I'm thinking also of the people, the singlies out there who are not in relationship or in a relationship with themselves. It's the same thing. We've spent these 22 days giving voice to those parts of us that have been suppressed before or not allowed in some other relationship. Giving ourselves permission to kind of investigate and state what has come up in the moment. I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad. When you did such and such, I felt such and such. And that's really important for people who've come from suppressed backgrounds, like both of us in one way or another. But there comes a point, and I think we're all at it now, where that storytelling, that referencing back into past is no longer where we want to stay. We've done that. It's been important to come to that point, to learn each other's stories. But, definition of a story really, it's something that happened in our experience before. And that's the function of mind, is to keep us either in the past or in the future, rather than being here. And what we're trying to do with this egregore, in a way, is to get a bit of, you know what incontinence is. Well, trying to call in emotional continence. We've done the sourcing of our emotions. Now we're stepping up into a place of emotional continence, where we are able to come to this place within us now, this field that we're creating together, and source our beingness, sourcing how we're living each moment from that place, from this unified field. And so it gives them the ability to anyway look at those old stories when something comes up from the other. And what works for me, for example, is when I recognises I'm off on one, which is a few seconds, is often, rather than just resting in herself, she knows me well enough now to say the right things to call me back to this new place, this place of presence, this place of being. And from this place of being, life takes on a whole new vibration. This is the very core, the very essence of beingness. And from my perspective, when we're in that place and we're sourcing our life from that, our lovemaking comes from that place, our conversation, our driving, our food making, when all those things are coming from that place, there is no difference between us and the divine. There isn't me and him or her. There is this. And that's an amazing field.
Beloved friends, I think we might be onto something. Because we were contemplating and discussing this morning about 5:30, thanks to the cat trampling all over my head.
And my balls.
So I came back to bed with this. And I said, listen, let's just do it now. Let's just rest in Pitaya. Let's just rest in that unified field that we know contains deep, deep medicine and signposts and wisdom and an intimate companionship, actually. Anyway, we just held hands in bed. We were lying on our backs, holding hands in bed. Next thing we know, it was 13 minutes past midday. Yeah. That just does not happen for two little active minds like us. So, poof. Yeah, there's something to be said about that. We would love, love, love to hear your contemplations and experiences.
A practical application of this, especially for the guys, I think, or especially for the masculine side of all of us, is basically it's a meditation where we're lying, or like we are doing now. And the meditation is simply breathing through the places where we're connecting with each other. Like my leg is against Anaiya's butt here, and a butt meditation. So I'm just simply breathing through that connective point. And if my mind starts to wander, I come to another point, like where her elbow is on my thigh. And just a breathing through that. So it's keep calling myself back to here. And the link between her body and mine is the point of presence. And it's very simple. It's a beautiful way for you guys to meet. You know, whether you're living together 24/7 or whether you're meeting at weekends or long distance relationship, when you come together, deliberately engaging in this field, this sourcing, or this connection, and just doing stuff, doing the normal things, preparing food, lying in bed, connecting from that place. It brings me anyway out of my mind straight back into this physical body. And then it's a very small step from there to rest in this state of being. Amazing stuff, really. It really is game changing.
One little thing, beloved friends, before we sign off. This morning, I sort of took it in 3 stages. So the first thing I did was to lie with myself and simply being aware of my essence, my soul, my familiar interior world. And then I expanded to feel into Pitaya. And then I expanded again, we both did, to feel all of us, so all of us on the 3-month ceremony, because that's another egregore. And then it was simply game over. We lost consciousness, and then it was midday. I have a feeling we're being called to work like this a little bit more often. So I've got a few little ideas up my sleeve of how we can start to work more as a unified egregore for ourselves, for one another, and for the group collective that we're becoming. Okay. See you very soon.